Okay, so for this very last video, we're gonna kind of combine some things that will save us some time. So we first see that A is positive 2, B is positive 8, and C is positive 2. So for the y-intercept, it's 0, comma C, because when you plug in 0 for x, they cancel and you're left with C, 2. So 0, 2. So we know we're going to touch it 0, 2 on the y-axis. Then the axis of symmetry is the line, the vertical line that would slice through our graph through half, and that's why it would end up being the x-coordinate of the vertex. It's a vertical line. X equals negative b over 2a. So negative parentheses where b is 8 over 2 times parentheses a. So it's negative 8 over 4, negative 2, so negative 2. Again, we have these from last time, so I'm going quickly. Remember, the x-coordinate of the vertex is the same as the x value for axis of symmetry because it slices our graph in half. So to find the y-coordinate, we plug that x value into our equation, into our function. And now I'm using function notation. So again, this is when you say f of x, you're just telling someone what you're plugging in for x. In the end, we're not going to like divide by 2. We're just telling someone what we're going to plug in for x. So we're going to plug in negative 2 and see what comes out. So if you plug in negative 2 in both x slots, we get negative 2 squared is positive 4, PEMDAS, 4. Then you have everything else. Then you multiply by what's in front. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16 plus 2. So 8 minus 16 is negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. So that's the output. Again, I'm not going to divide by negative 2. This is just what goes in. So when you see function notation, that's what goes in. And then this is what comes out. X value is what went into the function, right? And your y value is what your output is. And it's an ordered pair. So now when I do this graph, I put my vertex in the center of my table. So negative 2. And again, I've said this before, you have this vertex from last time. It will save you some time. Just put it in the center of your table. Then pick ordered pairs on the left of negative 2 and on the right of negative 2. Because you're looking at x values specifically, right? That you're going to plug into the equation. So I again did this purposely to pick x values that were equidistant to save me some time. Okay, so I'm going to use a few tricks. Again, you can pick any numbers less than negative 2, any numbers bigger than negative 2, and then sketch your graph. But the more you do, the better your graph will look. Okay, it will be easier to graph. So first of all, I'm going to save myself some time. I know that 0, if I plug in 0 for x, those swipe out and it's 2, right? It's technically 0c. And if I know that that's equidistant to this guy, it's also going to be 2. So that saved me a lot of time, right? So remember, 0 is 2 units to the right of negative 2, and negative 4 is 2 units to the left. And if you're not sure what's equidistant, right, from the center, you can always draw a little number line. Whatever your vertex x value is, this is the x-axis, right? You can do some numbers on there, negative 1, 0, 1, negative 3, negative 4, etc. And you can see that, if I use a different color, you can see that if the x value negative 2 is the x-coordinate of my vertex, you can see that negative 3 and negative 1 are both 1 unit away. So negative 3 and negative 1 are going to have the same y value. You can see that negative 4 and 0 are both 2 units away. So at negative 4 and at 0, they're both 2 units away, so their y value is going to be the same. It's just ironic or happens to be that the y value is 2. It's not going to usually even be that. So just make sure when you know the x value of the vertex, you can always draw a number line. It saves you some time if you pick x values that are on the right, that are on the left, that are the same distance away. But you don't have to. Okay, so when I plug in negative 3, let's see what I get out. So if I have f of negative 3, I'm just using function notation to show someone what I'm plugging in for x. equal to the equation 2, plug in negative 3 for x plus 8 times negative 3 plus 2. So to save myself some time, I'm going to use the trick in a sec. So negative 3 squared is going to be positive 9. You always do exponent first, and then later you multiply by the number in front. Plus 8 times negative 3. It's a negative. Plus 2. So then you multiply, so we get 9 times 2 is 18. 8 times, it's 18, right? Okay, 8 times negative 3. So 8 times negative 3, we are going to get negative 24. And then when we do 18 minus 24, we get negative 6. And negative 6 plus 2, we're going to get negative 4. I'm just checking something out really fast. We get negative 4. So when I plug in negative 3. So I know the equidistant trick that they're going to both be negative 4 because negative 3 and negative 1 are the same unit away from negative 2. And I think, okay, that looks okay. James, one last minute. I'm almost done, okay? I'm almost done, and then I'll do your hair. Okay, so we are going to go and graph. Now, when I look at this, it looks like my x values are fine in terms of scaling, right? I have negative 2, I have negative 4. My y values look like they're all there. So I'm not going to change the scale. But if the y values were really big or something, I might change it to 5, 10, 15, so on and so forth. Okay, so we'll do negative 4. Actually, I'm going to do the center first. I always like to do the center first. Negative 2, negative 6. It's probably right about there. And I always like to, when I use my pencil, to draw out from the vertex when I do the shape. It usually makes it look better. So then we have negative 3, negative 4. Then we have negative 4, 2. Then we have negative 1, negative 4. And we have 0, 2. Now see, it's also nice to do that equidistant trick because when you go to draw your shape, it's a little easier to see the symmetry. So I always like to start at my vertex and then go out, make sure it doesn't look like a V, make sure it's a smooth U shape. The more points you have though, the better it will look. Or the more accurate, I should say, and nicer. Arrows, because it continues. On the right side, notice my U shape. If I had more ordered pairs, it would look nicer. Okay, so that is that problem. Remember, I'll be on Zoom at 11. If you need help, go on the page to see the ID and password. Don't forget to submit your work.